Hi everyone. Hi buddy. Um, I'd said I'd make this video and I'm making it. So, hopefully actions and stuff doesn't crash on me while I'm doing this. Um, but yeah, I'm in my one of my favorite stomping grounds in my world, which is the what I've been calling for a long time, my local ancient city. You've seen it pop up in other videos I've made. Um, this is a familiar place for me. It's the most safe ancient city, I feel, because I've gotten rid of all of any and all shriekers I can find, including like in the caves surrounding it. There is another ancient city which this one connects to over that way that is a little less secure, but I feel safe in here. Anyways, so this video is supposed to be about things that I guess like my wish list for what I hope Mojang does with Minecraft going forward. And I've come here because I really hope that they give this structure a purpose. A while back they said um, the purpose of it is to add mystery, um, which I feel like doesn't really tell you much of anything. Or probably on purpose, but like, the community that plays this rightfully has questions about why this exists in the way that it does. The fact that it's in the shape of a like portal, like the Nether portal frame. The fact that it is, well, it's not indestructible because you can break it after like a really long time. It's made out of like a really hard to break material because it takes you like 5 minutes just to break one of these reinforced deep slate blocks. So obviously, this is meant to do something. If you're going by that logic, like like a Nether portal and like a End portal, this is made out of a really hard to break material. I mean, End portal frame; those blocks are meant to be completely indestructible, and whereas these are destructible, but like very hard to destroy. So like more like a Nether, another portal frame. Still, it hints towards this being a portal frame, and even in like the text, what is it? The game files, it said portal for like the little structure that's supposed to resemble this larger structure. But yeah, I really hope that they eventually bring some sort of like purpose to this because there's a bunch of these in the world. They're huge in terms of like this. The ancient city is a huge structural overall. Um, Certainly one of the widest. It has all these mysteries surrounding it, and it's like I'd really love for this place to have sort of a purpose, whether it's a portal to a new dimension, but that's probably not going to happen anytime soon because they want to be happy first with the other dimensions, and the end dimension has not really been touched in a significant way in a while. Um, So either that or it does some other thing, maybe takes you to an already existing place, but like, just something. I hope they do something with this eventually. Uh, there's glow squid up there. But, yeah, so I really do hope they do something with that. Um, Other thing, this is like this, alright, so this is gonna move from like stuff I hope that they do. I hope they do update the end at some point because it is pretty boring to go there aside from when you're fighting like you fight Endermen and you fight Shulkers. That's pretty much all you do there. The Shulkers can be kind of fun because their like fight style is really unique, but they're uh, what the okay whatever. They're kind of the only game in town when you're in the end dimension, so it gets kind of one note really quickly. This is a common gripe that the entire like at least internet community has with the end dimension. Now I have some personal gripes, and a few of these are going to be Bedrock specific. One gripe, a really big gripe I have, is with this. Why? This like visual bug has been in the game, at least in Bedrock, for so long. The Z fighting that happens, and it doesn't happen at every level. As you can see, it doesn't happen there, but it does happen there. It's like I think it has something to do with the Y coordinate that it's at. But like, God, I hope Mojang can like fix this at some point. If this hasn't been made a, I probably should have done this beforehand. But like, if this hasn't been made a bug report, I'll do it. Just because, like, I would use metal grates so much more often if it wasn't for this Z fighting. They even Z fight with each other. I never noticed that. I do now, though. So they even Z fight with each other. It's like they don't Z fight at other levels. So it has something to do, I guess, with like the Y level that they're at. Because I also use like at least a few of them in my base, but only in a very specific place. And I guess those locations are at a Y level where this Z fighting doesn't happen. I know they've recently fixed a bug where it was very much tied to like a kind of coordinate. I think it was like you would like clip through at like a 2x2 coordinate, and they like try to fix that recently. I'm guessing that this like iron bar issue has something to do with like, you know, your y coordinate in the world, or where it's placed. The y coordinate of where it's placed. You know what I mean? Sorry, but yeah. Speaking of iron, it'd be really nice if we didn't have to depend on iron farms for renewable iron. Just because, like, especially on Bedrock, Bedrock is notoriously bad at handling entities. I mean, this is the version of the game where, like, you can literally just lose your entities. They can just get, like, erased from the game, and there's not really much you can do about it. They're just gone. Like I've had villager trading halls where like half the villagers just disappear, um, and as a result of that, I like ended up like shrinking my like villager trading by quite a bit. And I imagine it could happen at any moment with my iron farm too, where I have like 20 villagers all in one little area. Um, that could just disappear at some point. But it's also like the number of entities, especially with AI, that you have can also have a negative effect on like, you know, like lag in your world. Um, it can end up like lagging out your world because there's a lot of entities for the game to keep track of, and that's already 20 entities with AI that the game has to essentially constantly keep track of. Um, but it's also an exploit, but it's an exploit that we use because we don't have a really good alternative. I would love it if the iron drop rate for zombies was just put more on par with that of, hey, look at me, freaking actions and stuff. I forget they have idle animations, but it'd be nice if they just included a way to. No, sorry. What I was trying to say earlier is that it would be nice if they just increase the number of drops of like the drop rate of iron for zombies. If they just increase that to be on par with like, you know, drowned and um I guess even zombie piglin, if you like set up the farm correctly in Bedrock. um oh damn, they're down here. There's a creeper too. Alright, hopefully they stay over there. I could just like walk away from them, they'll despawn. But yeah, it would be nice if they updated that to make it more on par with like the drop rates of copper with ground, or, you know, gold with zombie piglins, because like you can reliably get copper from ground. You can reliably get gold from zombie piglin. Um, it's kind of slow, the drop rate, sure, but it's like reliable in a way that's like maybe comparable to how much iron golems drop in iron farms. And like if the argument against it is that it makes it too easy to get iron, then they could just like tie it to looting in the same way that the other two are tied to looting, instead of having it be like pretty much an effective drop rate of like 1.8% or something. It's like it's incredibly low. It's insanely low. And like if if part of the argument against it is that they don't, they don't want people to just like, farm the iron too easily, we already do that with iron farms and iron golems in, the current iron farms, using like a bunch of villagers stuck in one place. So like we already, people who play this game and who use iron farms with iron golems and villagers are already finding a way to farm iron way too easily as it is. So if you just increase the drop rates for zombies to drop iron ingots. I never noticed that diamond was there. If you just increase their drop rate of iron ingots, then we like farming it would be a lot easier. Like sure, they could probably just make it so that it's tied to looting. That way, like you need looting in order for it to be like a um, you know a, like a justifiable amount. Like make it so it's tied to looting, so that if you really want to get um, that iron, you have to like kind of work for it. Sure. Oh damn it. I don't know. I feel like that would be like a nice compromise, because like we already, oh, don't look him in the eye, but we already have a way of like just getting ourselves a ridiculous amount of iron. Why not just make it so that it's not tied to having to have like 20 um, entities crammed in a single spot, and they don't, and like Mojang doesn't even like the fact that we use iron farms, because it's an exploit that doesn't really fit with the rest of the game. He's losing his mind. It would be nice, is all I'm saying. But like, I mean, who knows if they would ever do that? They haven't done it yet, and I imagine it's probably crossed someone's mind, already. But yeah, other than that, like, to go back to like bug fixes like that of the iron bars, which are still to this day Z fighting. Um, having Bedrock not be so horrible with entities, fixing lag issues, crash issues, but like they're like kind of always dealing with that. So, oh, I'm being shot at. Oh, hello. They're kind of already dealing with that, so I guess I don't really have to make a big fuss about that. But with like some issues that are like unique to this version of the game, the regen is too slow um, compared to Java. Uh, it'd be nice if we had that level of regen, but probably the reason why they don't add it is because we have, you know, we can spam attacks in this game. But maybe finally we could get the combat ported over to this version of the game. That'd be nice. Be nice if we got that like ported over to our side eventually. But it's been a long time and it still hasn't been done. So meh. I don't know. Oh, how could I forget? Finally giving us the offhand. I don't even care if we can't really use items in the offhand. At least let us hold things in the offhand, so that we can like. Personally, I would love it if we could at least just hold more things in our offhand, so that way I can mend tools and weapons more easily. That's it. That's all I want. If I can't use those items in the offhand because it's too hard for mobile devices to handle, fine. At least let me hold those items so that I can at least mend items more easily. Um, Maybe even use looting more easily, the way they do the way they do on Java already. That'd be cool. But these are all just like stuff like that's the thing about like all these like quote unquote demands that people make of Mojang. Mojang, it's completely up to them whether or not they do any of this. You can't force them. It's their game. It's their company. All we can do is like, you know, you can petition them. You can ask them, hey, if you could please make these changes. But at the end of the day, it is their decision. It is their game. It is their company. It's their enterprise. It's their, you know, number one moneymaker. So I really hope they make these changes, but I'm not gonna be delusional and assume that because I ask for these changes that they automatically will happen. Especially the ones that might affect gameplay, like the request to change the iron drops of zombies, and even the community itself has like arguments against that. Um, Plus, it is also a personal choice to make an iron farm to have an unlimited amount of iron, but I feel like that argument gets a little bit negated by the fact that like pretty much anyone who wants to play this game likely has some desire to build and not have to constantly worry about resources in that way at some point. Because like ideally, when you get to the end of the game, it should be much easier to build, you know. And if you want to build something using a lot of iron, the only conceivable way to do that, aside from finding a huge iron vein, would be to make an iron farm. And the only way to do that is with villagers, currently. So, yeah. I understand the arguments for and against some of the things I'm saying, especially when it comes to iron farms. It's just, I don't know. Aside from the issues that Bedrock has and that very annoying iron bar issue, I just hope that they improve the game in a way that, like, gears it more towards working more efficiently, um, but not also making it feel complete, like, you know, giving a purpose to that thing over there. It's these sort of things that are on my mind when I'm playing, I guess, and I'm starting to think about, like, things I'd like to see in the game, changes or additions to it. But, yeah. It's weird. I haven't been really getting much of the deep dark music here. I've been getting mostly just like the chill Minecraft soundtrack, which is weird. I'm in the deep dark. I'm in an ancient city. Are you not aware of this game? I am in the dark place. Where's the music? Oh well. But yeah, purpose for this. Fix the iron bars for please. They're so like I. It's been so long. I want to use iron bars without worrying about them looking so ugly because they're Z fighting. It'd be so nice. And then also like fix the entity issue on Bedrock so that they don't despawn out of nowhere. Um, Fix other bugs, but like that's not something I can really like hammer on too much about because Mojang is already kind of on that. So yeah, vibrant visuals is going to come to the game at some point. That's really cool. The only thing I noticed though is that whenever I look at it in preview, it's not too laggy, but it is noticeably laggy when you're at least for me on PlayStation 5. Um, when I'm in vibrant visuals, it is laggy. It is so laggy in there compared to like this is smooth. Like even with actions and stuff and how it like adds it adds animations, which makes makes your system work harder to actually produce the image and video that you're watching. Even with this, I'm not really seeing much, if any, lag. But in vibrant visuals, there's a noticeable amount of lag. So they would probably have to address the performance issues with vibrant visuals, and then the Happy Gas. It's a pretty cool addition. Um, it is a little bit of a shame that it might be one of the only things getting added in the next update. but I'm fine with that considering what I just laid out were my kind of list of wishes for the game. I don't see that as much of a loss, to be honest. Um, there are things I really hope they address at some point, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that in this update, and honestly, fine. It is what it is. But yeah, this video is already 20 minutes long, so I think it's really time to end it here. But like, that's just kind of my thoughts on like things that can be added or changed in the game. Well, hopefully sooner rather than later, but like, who really knows? On a final note, I'm wearing a different armor from my usual like silence armor. This is actually an armor that I made like earlier on, but it didn't really like pan out too well in terms of like how the enchantments went. I think I was using the enchantment table and it just didn't like come out the way I wanted it, and I got I kind of rushed to get it done. So these pants, for example, are like fire protection. The boots only have like soul speed 1, and it's because like I wasn't using the enchantment tool that's online, so um, the enchantments on this set of armor are not the greatest. But later on, I kind of realized that even though it's not the combination that I was really looking for, this armor doesn't really do that badly. It's not that bad, to be honest. The fire protection helps me when I'm like in lava or dealing with blazes. I mean, if I'm on fire, just generally. The soul speed means that even though I'm not running at like super speed, I'm not slow in soul sand either. So that's actually just fine. So I'm actually kind of happy with this armor. So I gave it like a nice armor trim just to kind of complement the fact that this is actually a useful set of armor. But okay, that's it. Maybe next video will be featuring me actually trying to get like a new build project done. Since there are some things that I wanted to like do in my world. But that's kind of it for my commentary on like what I want to see changed. So see you next time, I guess. Become one with the all-encompassing infinitude and such. Bye.